the original year. I'll end it up, Honorable Chair.
So you confirm that
So we can confirm that you can.
this
you
witness
can
is Mr.
swear.
Rajin Trent.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rajin Trent,
Good afternoon, Honourable
and
Chairperson.
welcome to these proceedings. We are going to allow you, together with Advocate Mkhize, to do what we call the presentation of evidence. But before you do that, you must be under oath. Before we administer oath, I want to read the following to you: that you have been invited before this ad hoc committee, which has been appointed to investigate the allegations that have been made by the Provincial Police Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal Province, General Ntantla Mkhwanazi, that the information or evidence that you are going to give here shall help the committee in its oversight and investigative work. It investigates, amongst others, number one, alleged unlawful disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team, the PKTT or NPKTT, alleged moratorium on the filling of vacancies within the South African Police Services, the SAPS. And number three, alleged corrupt relationship between senior leadership within the SAPS and members of the public. And lastly, political interference within the work of the SAPS. Ms. Trent, in extending his invitation to you, the chairperson of the ad hoc committee has indicated that you may provide information to the committee if you so wish under oath in terms of the powers, privileges, immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act of 2004. And please be informed that by law you are required to answer fully and satisfactorily all the questions lawfully put to you, or to produce any document that you are required to do so in connection with the subject matter of this inquiry, notwithstanding the fact that the answer or the document could incriminate you or expose you to criminal or civil proceedings or even damages. You are, however, protected in that evidence given under oath or affirmation before a House or Committee of Parliament may not be used against you in any court or any place outside Parliament, except in criminal proceedings concerning a charge of perjury or a charge relating to the evidence or documents required in these proceedings. Please be aware that in terms of Section 17, subsection 2 of the Powers, Privileges and Immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act, a person who willfully furnishes a House or a Committee of Parliament with information or makes a statement before it which is false or misleading commits an offense and is liable to a fine or to an imprisonment not exceeding a term of 2 years. You are required to take an oath or affirm that the evidence you are about to give is truthful. Which one do you elect, oath or affirmation?
Oath.
You have elected to take an oath. May you please follow me as I dictate. You shall say "I" and state your names in full.
I, Sarah Jane Trent,
Swear that the evidence I shall give
swear that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
And so help me God.
And so help me God.
Thank you so much. You are sworn in.
Thank you.
I will come to you. Advocate Mkhize, can I check how many hours do you need in the presentation of evidence?
Chair, at most, I think it will be 2 hours, but probably less. The statement is really short. So
So we can say between now and 19 hours.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Before we start, Honorable Mkhalaka.
Thanks, Chair. I wanted to tell the witness that she's sitting on a chair that is for special people. So, but she swapped before it happens.
Noticed.
Um, So if the staff members can remove that chair because it comes with trauma.
You
Chair,
can imagine.
on a serious note, I'm going to leave at 6:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought I must register my apology.
Where are you going?
Going to the EFF.
Okay, you have organizational commitments.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Any other apology that needs to be recorded? Okay. That permission is granted, Honorable Member, that time when it comes. If you feel you should leave, you are allowed. Mrs. Trent? Are you
It's Miss.
Are you fine?
I'm fine, thank you.
The person that you look at is Advocate Mkhize. From my table here is just to wish both of you good luck in the presentation of evidence. And if we can be done by that time, 19 hours, it will not require us to extend hours like we did last night. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you, Chair. Ms. Trent, do you have your affidavit in front of you, your statement?
Yes, I do.
Okay. We'll just go straight into it. At paragraph 1 of your statement, could you please tell the committee about your current professional standing, including the affiliations that you have? It's just basically paragraph 1 of your statement.
Yeah. I'm an attorney on the non-practicing role, so which means I don't act for anyone in court or practice. And I'm a certified fraud examiner in good standing with the Association of Fraud Examiners. Oh yes, and I have my own business. I'm a sole director of SJ Trent Pty Limited.
And when did you join? When did you start your own business?
I think it is here somewhere. Please forgive me. 10 May 2023.
And what does your business do?
I provide services as a certified fraud examiner, which is if a client comes and they've got an issue with fraud, theft, some legal issues that where they need someone to look into it and see if there's any relevance or prima facie, if they have a prima facie case. So, for example, the client wants to, in a civil case, wants to know whether it's reasonable to go to court to continue suing someone, but they want to know, do they have the funds, or if you suspect that they are laundering money in order to evade, I would then have a look and investigate that and give them an opinion of whether they have a case or not. That's just one small example, but yeah, sorry, I'm rambling. I will try
That's
not
fine.
to do that.
That's sufficient. From paragraph 3 all the way to paragraph 7 up to paragraph 6, you set out your educational background.
Correct.
And at paragraph 4, you say that, paragraph 3, you say you matriculated in 2002.
Correct.
And you attach your CV. And is that the most updated CV that you've attached?
Yes, it is.
As STJ1.
Correct.
Okay. And then in 2003, you would have then started studying. You completed a marketing degree from Stellenbosch College at Boland.
No, it wasn't a degree. It was, I passed 16 subjects.
Okay.
So you've got your N4, N5. So it was basically a 16 subject merit certificate, not anything to.
Equivalent to a diploma, possibly.
Possibly.
Okay.
That's why I put merit certificate instead of diploma, because it's technically not.
Okay. But then you subsequently studied toward your law degree. And you
Correct.
obtained that in 2013. And that's at paragraph 5 of your statement.
Correct.
And then you then started articles at paragraph. It's much later in your affidavit, but what I should do is, just for the sake of completion, is at paragraph 7, you detail the various certificates that you obtained after obtaining your LLB degree. So that would be 7.1. You became a certified fraud examiner,
Correct.
which you've somewhat explained, and it deals with what you do in your current business.
Correct.
Okay. And then you've also done the usual courses that are done as a person who's doing article clerkship, articles to become an attorney. So that's detailed at 7.2.
Sorry to interrupt. This is actually, I think they brought in this new rule where all advocates and attorneys have to do this course.
Okay.
So this is what this is. When I was an article clerk, I did I think it's legal practical training.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Okay. And then finally, you say that in April, you completed a course in evidence for decisions from Harvard Kennedy School.
correct.
Okay. And then we are now at paragraph 8 of your statement. And that deals with the background, your career background. You started working in 2008, and you did various jobs from 2008 up until 2011, when you then officially started your articles.
Correct. Or I went to a law firm. Yes.
Yes. And that's because you were, you say that at paragraph 8.3, that you were working while you were studying.
Correct.
Okay. So from paragraph 8.3, you say that in July you joined John Walker Attorneys to assist with the Pomodzi Group. Can you explain what your role was there, and how did that role turn into your training?
Okay. Quickly, as short as possible.
Yeah. We are at 8.3 of your statement.
So, John Walker Attorneys, the law firm, acted for the liquidators of the company, and I apologize. There shouldn't be PTY Limited after Pomodzi Gold. You know,
It's
I've been
immaterial.
through,
Yeah.
objected. So it was actually a public company. There was the insolvency issue and liquidation of Pomodzi Gold, and they needed someone to do quite a bit of the grunt work, carrying files, going through information and sorting it out. So I had the online interview, I think it was on the Wednesday, and I was on a plane the next day. It sounded like a really good opportunity. And so it started off in the inquiry. You have all the bank statements, and my principal, John Walker, said, make this make sense, go through it, and that's what I did. So I followed the money in a sense, and that's, I think, where I got that, I found that sort of hunger to investigate or look into things more than the legal work or in a law firm. So that's.
And then you subsequently did your articles.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Then John Walker offered me to do articles with him and to stay on, and that's what I did. And then I did 2 years there.
When did you leave?
It was, I know it was around 7, 8 April. I want to get that. I think I have I put it in here?
Which you at 8.3, 8.3 of your statement.
Oh, is it not here when I left? date. So it would have been 2014,
Around
April
20
2014.
Around 2014. Okay. You've been invited to give evidence in respect of your time that you spent at Paul O'Sullivan. You say so in not Paul O'Sullivan and Associates. And at paragraph 12, you set out the basis of the invitation. Would you like to read that into the record?
The ad hoc committee has requested me to provide evidence in relation to issues and allegations raised by General Pakhlani in his testimony before the inquiry and those that allegedly implicate Mr. O'Sullivan by virtue of having been in his employ at Forensics for Justice. I'm informed by the evidence leaders that, in his evidence, Mr. Pakhlani informed this committee that I accompanied Mr. O'Sullivan and IPID investigators to his Sable Hills home in 2017. As a result, this led to the allegations that IPID had been infiltrated by Mr. Paul O'Sullivan and by extension by me, who also accompanied him to Mr. Pakhlani's Sable Hills home.
Okay. That I just, for that provides context as to why you are here. Now I'd like to take you back to 8.4 of your statement, and we will start from there. So at paragraph 8.4, you say that from February 2015, you assisted Paul O'Sullivan on a pro bono basis for Forensics for Justice NPC, I think. How did you meet Mr. Paul O'Sullivan?
So I sent him my CV. I think it would have been maybe 3 days prior or 4 days prior. I thought, what have I got to lose? I'm interested in investigations. Someone suggested to me, why don't you just send your CV? So I did, and he goes,
What did, sorry, you went a bit too far.
oh no, I just sent him my CV, yeah.
So you were at this point, you'd completed your articles, and were you working?
You know what?
Or were you just seeking new employment?
I completely forgot to add one
You could
place
say
that I
it.
worked in. If may it's
No.
not in my affidavit, but
It's not,
it wasn't for very long, so I completely forgot to add it in.
it's okay. We can make that.
Apologies.
It's okay. Sarah, we can make that amendment. Where we are now is at paragraph 8.4 of your
Yeah.
statement. And we're dealing with your employment in 2015 at Paul O'Sullivan and Associates.
Yes.
And the question that I've just put to you is, if you could just tell the committee, how did you meet Mr. Paul O'Sullivan? And you can just take a step by step on how you met him and how you got to work for him. Yeah.
Okay. I sent him my CV, and I can't remember exactly what was in the email. And his PA gave me a ring.
Who was his
Not
PA?
Gigina.
You can,
Sorry? Her
what
name is Gigina.
Gigina.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gigina, you sent an email. Did you know Paul O'Sullivan before? How did you
No.
know to contact him?
I'd had coffee with a friend of mine,
Okay.
and I was saying, oh, I really like investigating. It's in a law firm, I don't think it was a good fit for me. And she said, well, why don't you send your CV to Paul O'Sullivan? And at the time, I didn't have a job and doing free online courses in a coffee shop. So I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose. And so his PA called me and said, can you come on Saturday morning and meet Paul? And so I did. And he said, well, he doesn't not looking to employ anybody, but he does have certain pro bono work that he does. So he would sort of, if he needed me to do anything, he would pay me an hourly rate. I didn't work from the office. It would be from home, and then I would send him what I'd done and the hours that I'd done. And then,
Okay. So my next question to you is, if you could just then maybe describe the work. Did you join him immediately after you met him that Saturday?
no,
Were you meeting him for the first time?
I'd met him for the first time.
Okay. And then when did you join after that conversation, after that first meeting on the Saturday?
So if it was the Saturday, then we had another meeting the next day on the Sunday. And I can't recall exactly, but
Okay.
you know, it would have probably been like a briefing on, you know, what I would do.
Okay.
And then the Monday, I think, was the 2nd of February.
Okay.
And so I had, you know, what I needed to do. And I think at some point I went to the office either that Monday or that week to meet the staff and be introduced. But I didn't go into the office every day or anything.
Okay, so please describe the work that you then undertook for his organization and its mission and what it basically stood for. That you can find where we are now is at 8.4 of your statement. You don't have to remember at the top of your head.
Sorry?
I'm saying you're at 8.4. I'm just directing you where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So could you describe the work that you undertook for the organization? It's
From beginning to end or just from when I started?
based on what you say at 8.4 of your statement.
Oh gosh. Basically, as you know, over the years and as I sort of saw what was happening, we saw a lot of what happened in you know, corruption in the criminal justice system, and so we would open cases and try as much as possible to expose it, and I guess get people to do something about
Yeah.
it.
If we take it line by line,
Sure.
at your statement at 8.4,
Yes.
you say that you did work for him on an ad hoc basis. So does that mean that you did not have a permanent contract to
Not
work
with-
for him?
Sorry. Are you talking about from
So you
2
say,
February?
so you say on 2 February 2015, I'm still at your statement at paragraph 8.4. Nowhere else, just only at 8.4.
Yeah, I'm there.
And yeah, and if you can read it in. The
Oh,
question,
so that'll be
yeah.
much better. Thank you.
the question is relating to that
So I
paragraph.
could just read this in?
Yes.
Okay. On 2 February 2015, Paul O'Sullivan used my services on an ad hoc basis to assist him with some of his pro bono work, which he did under Forensics for Justice, NPO, a non-profit organization that identified elements of the criminal justice system that had been captured by criminals or politically corrupt individuals that serve unconstitutional agendas with the aim to protect connected criminals from corruption charges. Through the use of forensic investigative methods, Forensics for Justice is able to expose corruption in those who act corruptly, promoting transparency and accountability, and inevitably protect scarce public resources.
What were your responsibilities?
For Forensics for Justice?
Yes.
Gosh, so each case would come about in different ways. So either you would have a whistleblower that came to sit with Mr. O'Sullivan, and he would listen to what they say, and if they had documents, he'd have a look and see, you know, is this something that we can put together or expose or open a case, and that's sort of how it would come about. It would generally be on something that we already had, where there would be someone that had come and given something, but I don't want to sort of admit that's the only.
You can give an example. I mean, what typically did you work on? You said you worked on an ad hoc basis for Paul O'Sullivan, for Forensics for Justice.
Okay, no,
And what for Forensics for Justice? That's where we are. We are at the.
I understand, but
Yeah.
remember, I did Forensics for Justice. This ad hoc work was from 2 February until May.
Yes.
And then I was employed at Paul O'Sullivan
Yes.
So I'm just getting confused, if you just bear with me.
So on 2 February, when you
Yeah.
joined on an ad hoc basis,
Yes.
which entity were you doing work on an ad hoc basis?
That would have been for Paul O'Sullivan and Associates.
Okay. In your statement, you say you did services on an ad hoc basis to assist Paul with pro bono work, which he did under Forensics for Justice. Yes. So you've read that into your statement.
Yes.
And my question is, just typically, what kind of work did you do? Give me an example of, if you can give the committee an example of what work was being done by you on an ad hoc basis for Forensics for Justice.
I think at that time it would have been research.
Okay. So when you joined.
Yeah, because I wasn't able to access certain things, so it would have been research or putting things into a spreadsheet or something like that, kind of.
Okay. And you then subsequently, we're now at 8.5 of your statement, because we're moving step by step. You then subsequently on 1 May 2015, officially joined Paul O'Sullivan and Associates. Is it fair to say that what you had been doing earlier for the first 3 months was perhaps on a probation of sort?
Yes,
Okay.
I would say that.
Okay. So then when you joined Paul O'Sullivan Associates, PTY Ltd,
Correct.
what sort of work were you doing there? What was, like, just typically give us an assignment that Paul O'Sullivan and Associates would do. And if you could also make a distinction between the work that was being done by Paul O'Sullivan and Associates versus what was being done at Forensics for Justice.
All right. So there were 2 other directors at Paul O'Sullivan and Associates who were running their sort of own project, so to speak. So I was sort of if they needed anything, then they could ask me. So it would be research or putting a document together. It was almost like a candidate attorney kind of a job. And then on the Forensics for Justice, it would have been the same thing. So if I was asked to do something, so I didn't have my own case or anything like that. It was research this or put a file note together I don't even think I sat in meetings at that point.
Okay, but you were already a certified fraud examiner. That's correct.
On the 1st of May 2015, no.
You were not.
No.
Okay. You testified that you were interested in forensic work and your friend told you about Paul O'Sullivan and Associates because you had already been doing fraud, like that kind of work.
Well,
Had you received a certificate? Have you done the course? No.
No.
Okay.
I just found it more interesting, and it was something that sort of stimulated my brain a bit more. Can't really explain it, but
So at that point, essentially, you had joined without having done the exam yet, and you were basically doing work on an ad hoc basis, similar to a candidate attorney, whatever was required in the firm, research, you would basically take care of it. And you didn't have, what was your specific role?
Sorry.
Your position.
It's all in my affidavit.
Yes. We are at 8.5.
Legal. It was legal researcher was the title that I was given on the.
Okay. So because you make a distinction between these 2 entities, your monthly salary, once you became permanent, who was it paid by?
Paul O'Sullivan and Associates.
Paul O'Sullivan, okay. And the work for Forensics for Justice was purely pro bono.
Correct.
Did you have to record your hours?
Correct.
Okay. And then on the 31st of March, we are now at 8.6. You say that you became a director.
Of Forensics for Justice.
Yes.
correct.
So how did that move happen from you having been doing work on a pro bono basis for Forensics for Justice, and then you became a director a few years later?
Mr. O'Sullivan asked me if I'd like to become a director of Forensics for Justice and Paul O'Sullivan and Associates, and I accepted. I'd been there for 6 years, so I think I didn't see any issue.
Okay. Yeah. We can now move on to the business of the day, which is why the committee has invited you to come and give evidence. We're going to jump a few pages, just a couple of paragraphs, and those paragraphs basically deal with what the work of this committee is, as you would see at paragraph 15. Not paragraph. If you go to a statement at paragraph 9, it sets out the work of this committee. So there's no reason to have to go through it specifically. So we are now at paragraph 17.
Yes.
You testified that, well, you didn't testify, but you stated that the committee has called you because of the work that you were doing whilst you were at Paul O'Sullivan and Associates, particularly the investigations that you conducted regarding Mr. Patlane's Stable Hill home. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Patlane testified regarding you accompanying Mr. O'Sullivan and IPID investigators to his Stable Hill home. In what capacity did you attend Patlane's home, General Patlane's home?
As Sarah Jane Trent, employed by Paul O'Sullivan and Associates. It's the capacity I went.
So you were and what was the purpose of the visit?
It was, so the matter was opened in the late Mantle Mahlangu and Timani Binang were investigators. And so usually what we do is just brief an investigating officer on, on a matter. And we just went to show the house, or sort of the scene of the crime, which was the house, and because that was basically the crux of the corruption allegation. Sorry,
It's okay. We can just break it down into
please.
smaller questions. If you look at paragraph 17 of your statement, you say that some of the work that you were doing at Paul O'Sullivan and Associates included forensic investigations, compiling criminal dockets, forensic reports, advice on evidence, and assisting branches of criminal justice system in investigations, providing litigation and support and fraud detection and prevention services.
Correct.
Now, that is a mouthful, so we need to break that down. And the question that I've asked you was in relation to the work that you were doing at the time at Paul O'Sullivan and Associates. One of the projects that you were doing was investigating, assisting IPID in its investigations, and particularly into General Patlane. And the question that I have for you is, at paragraph 18, rather, let's not have a question first. At paragraph 18,
Yeah.
it's headed investigations into the previous acting commissioner, police, General Patlane.
Correct.
And if you can read paragraph 18.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry if Okay, on 9 November 2016, Paul O'Sullivan and I met with two IPID officers, the late Mandla Mahlangu and Tamani Binang, had requested our assistance in the initial stages of this investigation. I was satisfied that in terms of the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, Act 1 of 2011, the IPID Act, they were entitled to receive assistance in their investigations and were entitled to provide this assistance at their request. This included informing them if and when we had any new information, carrying out forensic report checks on persons of interest, desktop research, and consulting from time to time. And then I set out the section.
Okay, if you
of the
can just
act.
perhaps pause there, and then now we'll take it step by step.
Okay.
Now that you've remembered what you said, that statement.
Yeah, if you could just remind me to read from you.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm just wasting everyone's time mumbling.
Okay, so earlier in paragraph 17, you tell us that you were assisting various branches of the criminal justice system. Which branches particularly were you assisting?
So if I can explain, so when we assist a client or in a pro bono matter, we open a docket. And if there are certain people that we think might have information or a witness, we'll give them a call and say, look, we're investigating this, or we'll have people come to us and open the docket with the police. And then you get obviously a CAS number, and an investigating officer is then appointed to the case. We then contact them and say, look, if it's a client, we'll say, we've been mandated to do this. Please let us know if there's anything you need from us. We are whatever. And the same thing with the Forensics for Justice work. So when I say branches, there would be, so yeah, the NPA, it would offer assistance, but not guide them.
Okay, so you did work for the NPA. That's the one criminal system, the one
No.
just. Okay, and what else? Which other government or law enforcement entity did you do work for?
So I didn't say we did work for the
Okay.
NPA.
You assisted.
We said, look, we are certified fraud examiners. We were mandated to open this matter, if it's for a client, but on Forensics for Justice, as Forensics for Justice, please let us know. These are the services that we do normally provide if we know that the state is under-resourced.
Okay, while still on that example, on the NPA, not that you did work for them, you would assist them. So you introduced yourselves as an entity that does forensic investigations. And what came out of that introduction with the NPA? Did you have to assist them in any operations?
No. Okay. So this is quite literally what we would do. I'd call them up or send an email and say, hi there. If it's a client, we're mandated by the complainant to assist in the investigation up until the time we need to open the docket. We are certified fraud examiners. And if you need any assistance, please let us know. That's pretty much exactly what we would say.
And then what would
and then
NPA
follow up.
Yeah, what would
When I
the
say the NPA, it would be, that's exactly what it was.
Okay, let's
But-
work on an example, taking it step by step. So you would then approach the NPA and say to the NPA, we offer these services. We have a client. we
No,
can assist."
no.
Okay,
We never, no.
okay. Take you.
Quite literally, hi, we've assisted a client or as Forensics for Justice to open a matter. We have the capacity to do these things as certified fraud examiners. If you need anything or feel it is appropriate to ask, please let us know. Here's our card, or, quite literally, that is it. I would, it wasn't, we want to run the case or.
Yes, no. I haven't said
anything.
that you.
Sorry.
I'm not.
I just-
I'm also not insinuating that. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to run with your evidence,
Of course,
as you said.
of course.
So I'm just piggybacking on what you've said earlier. And where I am now is that if we can just park at the example of the NPA, because I'm just looking for an example, right? And so you've testified that you would approach the NPA, and if I can read your words verbatim, we've assisted a client to open a matter. We have capacity, and if it is appropriate, please let us know how we can assist. The next question I have for you is, what would then come out of that offer?
Nothing. Normally, I mean, I've done a lot of cases, but
Just
Nothing,
around, just
yeah.
on the NPA, because I want us to just use the one example. I'm going to go to the next one after
Yeah.
this. So on the NPA, what would the NPA then say as a
I
response?
recall a time of it coming. What's an example?
So while you think about it, this is all in line with what you've said
Correct.
at the previous paragraph, that you were assisting branches of the criminal justice system.
I know it's
And so the statement is quite vague, you know, and it doesn't actually detail. I'm just asking about that, like, if you can just give examples of the branches of the criminal justice system
okay. And then with
that you
so-
assisted in investigations.
Yeah, that's basically what would happen. But usually with the MPA, I mean, they don't need any assistance. So it was, and it wasn't every case.
Yes.
So, for example, I'll give the example of Paklani. I don't even know who the prosecutor would be.
Okay.
You know,
So who was investigating General Patlani?
IPID.
IPID, okay. Would that be now where you are at paragraph 18? So before we get to paragraph 18 and we deal with the specific example of General Patlani, I was just perhaps asking this question, if you can assist the committee on, you know, I think from line 1, 2, 3, from line 4 of paragraph 17.
Yeah.
Those would be your roles and responsibilities, what your role entailed within Polo Sullivan and Associates.
Correct.
Okay, so if you could then maybe flesh out for us, what is it that you were doing? But the question is more linked to assisting branches of criminal justice system and investigations. Perhaps if you can tell us what you mean by that.
I think there's nothing really more. It would literally assist a client in putting together a criminal complaint that we would then assist them in opening a criminal case. Either the client or we would, depending, get the CAS number. They would then get an investigating officer and would communicate with the investigating officer and say, like I said earlier, if you need any, most of the time, yeah,
Okay.
not really.
Maybe,
So
maybe you can just list them without giving examples then. You can just list the different branches of the criminal justice system that you assisted.
So SAPS,
SAPS, yeah?
IPID, and then the NPA. But I mean, that was like really nothing. It was purely,
So those are the only branches of the criminal justice system that you were referring to, that
yeah,
paragraph.
yeah.
Okay.
As far as I can recall, what other?
I don't know, I'm
No.
not really sure what the
Yeah,
work
that's
does. Okay, that's.
Sorry,
okay.
you know what, actually, I should have been a bit more clear in that statement. I was just quite rushed and it kind of, I got it from a previous document and I thought maybe rather copy and paste it. So
No,
I'm not
Ms.
sorry
Trent-
for causing any.
No, you're not
confusion.
causing anything. Ms. Trent, your statement, together with your oral evidence, together with your oral submissions, form part of your evidence. So what you may have left out, as you will see, the committee members will also invite questions of clarity where it's unclear. And all we are doing is going through your statement paragraph by paragraph. And you have a moment now to explain to the committee what it
Okay.
is that you meant. So it doesn't really matter that it's not in here.
Okay.
You can now tell us in evidence.
Okay.
Already.
I don't know if it's appropriate to ask. I forgot to add one a place that I worked as well before I went to Paul O'Sullivan and Associates. It
Yes,
is in my CV.
Yes.
I just,
You've mentioned,
I forgot.
yeah.
Oh, did I? We just didn't go through it now.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, because now we are
Okay.
past that stage. We are
Okay.
now at the stage where you are working for Paula Sullivan and Associates. Okay, if we can then go to paragraph 18. At paragraph 18, you talk about the investigations into the previous acting commissioner of police, General Patlane. You've read the statement into the record. So if I can just maybe ask specific questions. Could you recount how Paul O'Sullivan and Associates, or perhaps Paul O'Sullivan and you, became involved in IPID investigations?
Well, it was just this. This was a criminal complaint made with IPID
By whom?
by Mr. O'Sullivan. He laid that complaint. A rather serious complaint against the head of police for South Africa, for the nation. And yeah.
And this was in November 2016.
Are we sorry, if you can.
It's in your statement. We
No,
had
no,
paragraph
I'm-
18. We had paragraph 18. We
No,
haven't moved.
I understand.
Yeah.
You asked me about investigations with
Yes.
IPID, so that,
You've answered. You said it was the only investigation.
yes.
I have here that this was a criminal complaint by Paul O'Sullivan in November 2016.
Can I just read this?
You've read it already into the record.
19.
Yes. No, we're not at 19 yet, we're at 18. Okay, what type of assistance did you provide for IPID at IPID's request?
We did searches. I did a lot of desktop research. So, and then it would be a sort of a file note on media articles or social media things, or go on Twitter and see what's happening. And it would be just a file note, and I would then send it. And then certain searches. So if they were doing an investigation and it led to something, I would do that. And
Okay.
which
From whom did this request come?
so it would come from one of the investigators.
How did you meet? How did you get into IPID? That's the question I asked when we started. Like how did your involvement, how did Paul
Okay.
O'Sullivan and Associates get to be involved with IPID?
Okay, so in February 2016, Paul O'Sullivan, under the auspices of Forensics for Justice, gave a complaint to IPID. I was involved in some of the interview with the whistleblowers and that. And then I believe nothing happened at that time. And when Mr. McBride got back to IPID as the ED, I went to meet an investigator that he'd appointed, the late Mandla Mahlangu.
Okay, before you met Mandla Mahlangu, how did it come about that you knew that Mr. McBride had not been at IPID and he now was back at IPID? Like, I just want you to just tell the story of how did Forensics for Justice or Paul O'Sullivan and Associates get involved at IPID? Like, how did you meet?
Can I ask a favor?
Yeah.
We go in bite sizes because it's quite a long story and I feel like I'm not.
It's your evidence, Ms. Trent. You can
Okay.
take it. I'll switch off my mic.
No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying
I
that
don't
at all.
mean it in a bad way. I mean, you
Oh,
need to
okay.
give your evidence.
Okay. And then when Mr. McBride was back, and knowing that he, had a reputation for, being against corruption, Mr. O'Sullivan said that I should give Mr. McBride a call and ask if we can chat to him about our docket against Mr. Bakhlani at the time. And he said, no problem, you can meet the investigating officer.
So it's Mr. O'Sullivan who introduced you to Mr. McBride. Did he know him prior to asking you to call him?
He knew him, but I don't know for how long or what the relationship was.
Yeah, just whether he knew him. Okay, so you then called him when he was back to basically get to investigate, to assist in the investigations of General Pahlani.
Correct. Look, it was a lot of, it was, I would say, a bit of a complicated matter. So what we usually like to do is meet with the investigating officer and go through what we've done and put in the docket when we've opened the docket. So we'll say, okay, go through the statement and the evidence and everything and sort of brief them on it.
Okay. So then you called Mr. McBride, and what happened next? Did he invite you for an interview? I mean, a meeting? You can just tell the story.
Then I can't remember I don't remember how I got to the meeting. I just remember I went there and he said, this is Mandla Mahlangu. He's going to be leading the investigation. Hi, nice to meet you. And then I left. Mr. O'Sullivan was not there.
Okay, so that's how you would have met Mr. Mahlangu. What was Mr. Mahlangu at IPID?
I don't know that they have ranks or anything like that, but he was a senior investigator.
A senior investigator, okay. So in your statement, you say, now at the end of paragraph 18, you say, I was satisfied that in terms of the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, Act 1 of 2011, they were entitled to receive assistance in their investigations and were entitled to provide this assistance at their request. In terms of which provision exactly? You say in terms of the IPID Act, which?
Yes, this section.
Okay, you can tell us which one, and you can read it in, the one that you rely on.
Okay, the functions and investigative powers, section 24, subsection 1, an investigator may, subject to the control and direction of the executive director or relevant provincial head, exercise such powers and must perform such duties as are conferred or imposed upon him or by or her by or under this act or any other law, and must obey all lawful directions which he or she may from time to time receive from a person having the authority to give such directions under this act.
So you rely on
I'm
24(1).
No, I'm reading
Okay.
this whole 3A for the purpose of an investigation made.
Yes, Ms. Trent, you can continue.
Oh,
You
okay. 3A, for the purposes of conducting an investigator may direct any person to submit an affidavit or a firm declaration or to appear before him or her to give evidence or to produce any document in that person's possession or under his or her control, which has a bearing on the matter being investigated and may question such person thereon. 3B, an investigator or any person duly authorized thereto by him or her may request an explanation from any person whom he or she reasonably suspects of having information which has a bearing on a matter being or to be investigated.
So, Ms. Trent, are you basically testifying that you're relying on section 24(1), 24 subsection 1, 24 subsection 3B and 4, those provisions? That's what you rely on for being able to assist a law enforcing agency?
Correct, at their request, yes.
Okay. And it's all those provisions that you rely on? No, you can respond.
Honorable James.
Yeah, I'd just like to get clarity. These provisions that you reference here, are they not for IPID?
Yes, this is the IPID Act.
And this forms the basis of the work you do?
No, it is that they can request assistance from us. So, sorry. If I can just have 1 second.
Take your time.
Thank you.
Basically, what the question is, Ms. Trent, if I can assist Honorable James, is that you have said in your statement at paragraph
know.
18 that you rely on these provisions for the basis of assisting IPID. And the question is, which provision exactly do you rely on, and why is it applicable to you or to Paul O'Sullivan Associates to be able to assist in IPID work?
Yes, that they believe that we can
No,
assist.
the provision. Yeah.
Okay, sorry,
Take your time.
sorry.
Perhaps Honorable James, Chairperson, Honorable James has asked the question. Can we perhaps continue and then give the witness an opportunity once she's had a time to think about it?
I'm fine with that, Chair. Let's move on. Thanks.
No, Chair, we're not moving on, Chair. We're not moving on. She must point in this thing that she has attached here, where they say IPID can ask for assistance. She must go there. This was attached by her after reading it and after being a non-practicing attorney. She told us it's that. So she should know how you quote the law. She must go to where it helps her, because there is no such a thing here.
So if
Are you able to respond to the question?
sorry, I'm unable to concentrate. Yeah.
Are you perhaps at 3B of the provision?
Yeah, so basically what this means is that if they need assistance, they can ask anyone to assist. Okay, let me rather, an investigator may request an explanation. Okay.
Okay, at 3B, Ms. Trent, it reads that an investigator or any person duly authorized thereto by him or her may request an explanation from any person whom he or she reasonably suspects of having information which has a bearing on a matter being or to be investigated.
Correct.
Would you like to expand on that?
No, I think that
Have some water. Should have-
So basically, my understanding is that if they need assistance in something, they can ask for it lawfully, and they were allowed to do so, and there was no issue with that.
Okay. Perhaps it will become apparent as we move on. We are now at paragraph 19.
Just
Okay.
wait, the two honorable members there. Honorable James and Honorable Malema. Let me take Honorable Malema first.
Now, I want us to agree with the witness that what she has quoted here is not helping what she's saying. She says they can ask for help legally and all of that. It's a matter we can debate. That's fine. But in terms of what she's quoting here, there's no such a thing. And she has to agree that this quotation is not saying what she's saying. But that legally they can ask for assistance, maybe the way Advocate Walo is saying it, as we go along, it will come apparent that they can ask for such a thing. But where we are now, 24.1 and 3A, 3B, and 4, all of that, there is no relevance to what she's saying. And she needs to concede that before we proceed.
She does not have an answer to the question. Ms. Trent,
Ask her if she agrees with me that this does not speak to what she said.
I disagree, but I think it would probably be up to you to decide at the end of the day. It wouldn't be for me to.
Quote where it says what you are saying. Quote it here. Is the purpose of putting of cutting this thing and putting it in your affidavit was precisely to make reference to it. Refer to where it says what you are saying.
what the honorable member is saying is that this committee is not dealing with facts, it's dealing with evidence. Yes, it is a fact that IPID may ask for assistance. But where is the evidence in law that provides for that fact or that substantiates? If you say you went to IPID because they have requested you to assist, the honorable members are saying IPID is a government institution regulated by law. There is national legislation that regulates the operations of IPID, including it as an organ of state. So where is the provision in national legislation? That's what they want to hear from you. If it is not on the document, but you know it is section 26, subsection 7, refer them to that provision.
Would you like an opportunity to respond?
Honorable James, do you want to make an addition?
No, Chair, I'll get back to this when I question. Ons kan nie bloed uit 'n klip uitslaan nie. Ms. Trent is unable to answer and respond. Let's move on.
Yeah, before Honorable Ngola.
No, Chair, I was going to say even, I think completely Section 24 of IPID Act is irrelevant to the point, but even the subsection 3B that she's relying on explanation is also irrelevant, but we can expand that when it's our turn to ask questions.
Yeah, but before we proceed, can she concede that she does not have a provision in law to back the fact or the statement that she made here?
Can you just repeat the question?
The question is what the honorable members have asked here. Which provision in national legislation governing IPID are you relying on to substantiate your statement? Are you able to help Advocate Mkhize?
Ms. Trent, what the chairperson is asking you is, at paragraph 18, you say that you were empowered, well, not empowered, those are not the words you use. Let's use the words that you use in your statement. At paragraph 18 of your statement, you say you were satisfied. Third line, the third line, you say, I was satisfied that in terms of the Independent Police Investigative Directorate
Yeah.
Act, that when you say they, you mean Mahlangu and Binang. Those are the investigators from IPID. And you say they were entitled to receive assistance in their investigations and were entitled to provide this assistance they request. So my understanding of this paragraph, you can comment from this. My understanding of this paragraph is that you're saying once you met with Mr. Mahlangu, you satisfied yourself that you were able to assist with the work of investigations that they were doing as investigators at IPID. And for that, you rely on the provisions that you've pasted at page 9 of your affidavit. Now, what the chairperson and the two honorable members have put to you is which provision exactly were you satisfied with, that you could, which provision do you rely on for the basis of being able to do these investigations based on what you've pasted based on the provisions you've set out at page 9. And there are four different sections that you set out. Is there any specific one that you remember right now, or would you like to deal with that as we go along? Or are you conceding that these provisions do not apply to you?
As I understand, this is that if one of the IPID investigators requested assistance, that it would be lawful and that we would be able to give assistance. And that, and I interpreted from the purposes of conducting the investigation may direct any person
Where are you reading from?
from 3A.
Okay, yes, you may continue.
Or I don't know what you want me to say.
No. It's your testimony, Ms. Trent. I don't wish to tell you what you say. There's no specific answer I'm looking for. You answering to the two honorable members that have posed the question to you. It's a question of clarity. They're trying to get clarification on whether you still rely on these provisions for the work that Paulo Sullivan's and associates conducted with IPID. Are these the provisions that you rely on?
Yes.
Okay. So if you say you rely on these provisions, which one?
What I've put down here.
Okay. Would you like to expand?
No. I can, I just need to please guide me.
Chair, I'm asking a specific question. I'm saying to you, go straight where this act says that. It's very specific. You just say to me,
Okay.
3A or whatever, and then you read it out.
3B, an investigator or any person duly authorized thereto by him or her may request an explanation from any person whom he or she reasonably suspects of having information which has a bearing on a matter being or to be investigated.
So IPID doesn't suspect that you've got any information of any sort. you are saying they asked you to assist them. This speaks about speaking to any person who might have information or anything of that sort. You were asked by IPID to assist them in their investigation. Which law gives IPID such power to go to a private institution to help them with investigation?
Thank you, Honourable Malema. I understand your question now. It was purely on a, not to assist the entire investigation at all. It was, would you be able to do some desktop research on this, or do a search on this person of interest or whatever, but it wasn't assisting in the entire investigation. By the time it got to IPID, there were witness statements, evidence that was already there. So when it got to IPID, that was the work that had been done by Forensics for Justice. And we said, look, we've got resources and whatever, please use them if you need. But we didn't run an investigation with them.
So you never assisted IPID with any investigation. They have never asked you to assist them with any investigation.
No, they have. What I'm saying, no, I'm not saying we didn't assist. I'm saying in the entire investigation, like I wasn't sitting with them and going through everything. It was, if they came across something where they needed a search on something or something like that, then they would ask me. But it wasn't as if we were investigating with them, if I'm making sense.
Chair, let me leave it here.
Okay, Honorable Nomvalo.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chair. No, Chair, I was going to say that maybe the witness is failing to adequately explain the kind of assistance that was requested from them, because I understand the frustration of honorable members that the Act, in particular, Section 24B, talks about an explanation that can be requested by an investigator to a person whom they believe to be in possession of a certain information. Now, the impression that has been given by the witness is that they were requested to assist the investigation, whereas there is no provision in the Act to that effect. The only provision is a provision of requesting for an explanation. So I just wanted to say, Chair, maybe the witness must clarify what kind of assistance was requested from you by the investigator.
Sure. Sorry, I'm just. I'm just trying to think. Okay, so if I needed to run a search, so if something came up in their investigation, on, for example, a company.
No. Let's not be all over the place. Here, you are approached by Mr. Mahlangu and Mr. Pinang, and then they say they want you to assist them in carrying out an investigation. What did they specify? I'm trying to assist you here. Did they specify that we want you to assist us on A, B, C, D, E? And if they did, what did they say?
Okay, so should I start it from the beginning where, for example, the house?
No. I just want us to focus on the request. What is it that they wanted you to assist them on?
Not a lot. For example, I think I answered that. If they came across, so they carried out the investigation. When the Mantle Mahlangu got the docket or their case. I think it's called an inquiry or something like that at IPID. They then go through it. We went through it with them. And then I think Mr. O'Sullivan would have said, look, this is the house. I've had a look at the house. Let's go and I'll show you. And you need to, you should speak to the estate manager. I've been there before.
So the assistants went to that extent.
Yeah, so that was, I think, in the first week.
So it was not a once-off assistance. You were not called to come and clarify something.
Oh, I hear what
They
you're saying.
they wanted to work the investigation with you.
Oh, no. So in the criminal or in the complaint to IPID that was made, there was a Google Earth history analysis on the property and the extent of when it was built, and there was a
Okay, no. I don't want to eat
So-
on her time. Let me close it like this. They did not call you to give an explanation.
this was pretty much, it was, well, this is the
No,
house.
but accompanying them is not giving them an explanation. You are assisting them when you accompany them to a particular address.
I'm not sure I agree. It was,
Chair, it's okay. Okay. We can continue this.
No, Chair, just a second. I think I'm largely covered. There is nowhere in the Act where it talks about assistance. As you allege. Hence, oral non-valor is expressly taking you to explanation, because the Act speaks about explanation, not assistance. But I think we must implore you to calm down. I'm worried that you are a bit nervous, and it makes it very difficult for us to get there. Chair, can we take at least 5 minutes a break to calm down? I'm worried that we would not be able to extract evidence from a witness this nervous. So if we can cool down a little bit, Chair. Thank you so much.
My hand was up.
I second, Chair. Honorable James,
Okay, I wanted to ask a
Uh,
question, but let's take a break. I think,
Advocate Mukize, can you do the work that Honorable Skosana normally does?
Thank you, Chair. I will accompany the witness.
Yeah, thank you.
If we can just stand down for 5 minutes.
Okay.